and then Rams and Buccaneers, and that's where I'm going with my first pick. Rams are 1-point underdogs at home in this game, and I like the Rams in this spot, KC. And I'm just going to focus on one particular element of this game that I like a lot. We've heard this so many times over the last couple of years. If you want to slow down Tom Brady, if you want to slow down the Buccaneers passing game, you put pressure up in his face, ideally up the middle, right? And it's become one of those things that, like, you say to sound smart about football, right? It just sort of automatically imbues you with this know-how when it comes to breaking down X's and O's, but it's also true. We got to this point because it's true, and you go back to last year when these two teams met, one of Tom Brady's worst games of the season because the Rams were able to bring consistent pressure right in his face, up the middle, make him uncomfortable, and throw off everything that the Buccaneers want to do down the field. So I think this is a uniquely bad matchup for the Buccaneers and Tom Brady insofar as a matchup can be bad for this offense. I'm not saying the Rams are going to hold them to 13 or 17 points and win this game. I still think you need to get up into the mid-20s, score 24, score 27. That's where you need to get to win this game. But I think the Rams can do that on their side of the ball and then slow the Buccaneers down to the extent that they do end up winning this game 27-24 or 24-21 or 24-23, whatever the case might be. No Antonio Brown, most likely for the Buccaneers. That isn't guaranteed just yet, but he is on the COVID-19 list. Just with the protocols, it seems like it's going to be hard for him to check all the boxes he needs to check to get cleared to play this game on Sunday, and he's been a key part of that offense. You take him off the board for Bruce Arians, and things are going to change. They, of course, have the reinforcements to make up for that, but it still is a change for this offense and a loss for this offense against a very strong defense that I think it'll be hard for them to weather. This is also their first road trip of this season. They've been at home since the middle of August, whenever their last preseason game was. They haven't left Tampa since then. So I just think all these things add up. And then, that Rams team, pretty darn good in its own right. I hope Darrell Henderson plays for the sake of this bet, but I think they can paper over that loss if he is unable to go. So I really like the Rams here. I think they should be favored. I think they should be -1 or -1.5. I wouldn't expect them to get up to the default -3 when we have two evenly matched teams. You just throw a -3 on the home team and let it be. I understand why they're not getting that level of respect, but it feels to me like they should be the favorite in this game by 1.5 or so. So I really like them catching a point in this one.
I can't understand why we talked about the Raiders defense being underrated. The Bucs are great on run defense, but their pass defense, I mean, they lost Sean Murphy-Bunting in week 1, and they've not looked that good. Atlanta couldn't get a thing done against Philadelphia in week 1, and last week they looked a lot better. It's one of those things where, and now you're facing the Rams. I don't think they're going to be, I agree with you that I think the Rams should be a slight favorite in this one because of those factors. And because, again, this Bucs defense, I think they'll be great as the season goes along, and they're good, still good against the run. But I think their secondary they've got some coverage problems back there.
Yeah, you look at the final score of that game, and it seems like the Buccaneers won it going away, but a couple of pick sixes late in that game. That was a 3-point game halfway through the third quarter. It was 28-25, and that was a game where the Falcons fought back, and Matt Ryan looked really good after halftime. I mean, that was a game that was definitely in the balance before those pick sixes for the Buccaneers. So you can throw on this Buccaneers team right now, and we've seen what Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford have been able to do together in their first 2 games this season. Really do like the Rams in this spot. I think now obviously +1 if I'm backing them. I think it's going to be a game that the Rams win outright